Hey there, folks. Rock Online here. Something a little bit different today. Been wanting to do one of these. Sumo Spiffy does a fantastic sumo tier list before every Basho, for every tournament. And I wanted to take a stab at putting something similar together this time. So that's what we are going to try and do today. So huge thank you to Sumo Spiffy for the formatting. The sumostats.com. I'll put links to all of these in the video. But Sumo Stats is an invaluable Sumo resource of Sumo Stats, as you would expect. And I lean pretty heavily on them for a lot of the numbers that I have in my analysis for where I thought everyone was going to end up. The one thing I would say I've done different to Sumo Spiffy is I've gotten rid of the F tier. So if you look at his chart, to walk through this again, you've got S tier, and there's an expectation that that wrestler is going to get 12 or more wins out of the 15 for the upcoming tournament. A tier is somewhere in that 10 to 12 range, A minus 9 to 11, B 8 to 10, C plus 7 to 9, C minus 6 to 8, and D 5 to 7. There was an F rank, which was expectation that that wrestler would get 6 or fewer wins. I feel like the D tier is going to capture that well enough. Also, sort of eternally the Marge Simpson. I just want everyone to have fun. Always a bit of an optimist when it comes to how well people are going to do. So I took the F tier out. It also just graphically helped balance the chart out a little bit. The photos are a little bit small to read some of those names. So to get rid of one of the rows made things a little bit more easy to read, I think. So again, I'm going to start at the top of the Banzuke with Hoshoryu. What more to say about Hoshoryu? Yokozuna 1 East, highest ranked wrestler out there right now. Two top tier tournaments. One of only 4 wrestlers to average 10 or more wins over the last year for the Bashos, where he's competed in all 15 days. In fact, he has the highest average of anyone at averaging 11.5 wins a Basho when he plays all 15 days, and surprisingly does not have a title in that range, having matched up in a couple of playoffs. And just unfortunately having not broken through. Hard pressed to bet on Hoshoryu in anything less than A plus here. Edging off of S, I feel like again he's averaging about 11.5 wins a tournament, so we'll keep him right there for this one coming up. Ono Sato, again, it's another one. What more could be said? Genuinely, I think Ono Sato is the best wrestler in the world when he's healthy. The last 6-8 months have been just not great with him trying to recover. He sat out May, which was really good, so hopefully he's feeling a lot better about things. All early reports seem like he's still not training quite as hard as he would normally pre-injury. So we'll see what that portends. And I guess another caveat too, I'm assuming everyone that we're looking at is going to wrestle all 15 days. I'm not going to, like Sumo Spiffy says, I'm not going to sit here and predict injuries. That doesn't do anybody any good. So again, I think Ono Sato genuinely one of the best wrestler in the world when he's healthy. 5 Basho, averages about 11, a little over 11 wins when he competes in 15 days. So I mean, he's right up there with Oshoryu again. Those two are one of 2 of 4 that average 10 wins or more when they over the last 12 months when they complete in all 15 days. So I've got Ono Sato in exactly the same spot as Oshoryu here. Probably looking at that 12 win range. Kirishima, so Kirishima is on the Yokozuna run. It would be absolutely incredible to see Kirishima pull this off. I don't know how likely it is. Odds are very good just based off conversations and videos and things that I've read that videos I've read, videos I've seen that he's going to need probably like a 14-1 runner up or a 13-2 win in order to pull this off. Not to say that I don't think he has that necessarily in him. He's one of the 4 that averages 10 wins. He's averaged exactly 10 wins each of the last 6 tournaments, which he's played all 15 days of all 6 of the last year. I think he's got it in him. I don't think he pulls off the Yokozuna run this time. That playoff loss to Wakataka Kage in May is going to haunt him, I think, for a while. But I've got him in the same rank as Ono Sato and Hoshoryu, that I think they're all going to be pulling that same sort of 10 to 12 range. Next is Kotozakura. Ozeki 1 West. Koto Zakura is sitting at Katobon right now, meaning that he has averaged, or that he's had fewer wins. He's had um, Makikoshi the last two tournaments, meaning that or no, last tournament, sorry. But if he averages two, then he loses his rank, like Onishiki has. Um, I don't know how to, I don't know how to read Kodazakura terribly well. So he averages about 8.5 wins a tournament. So he's right at that line of not falling short. But I just am not seeing a lot out of training. And I mean, even going into, I want to say it was either March or May. I want to say it was March. He had some like just absolutely flawless, like the practice that he had done in the run up to the tournament looked so unbelievably good. Like this guy is gonna win this tournament. He is just smashing practice and everything looks good. He went in and had a terrible tournament. So I don't know how to read reports or anything when it comes to Koto Zakura, genuinely. But I don't think he's going to hit his 8 wins this time. I've got him right at 7. So let's be a little bit optimistic again. I tend to be a little bit more optimistic. We're going to put Koto Zakura at C plus, somewhere in that range of just being on the borderline going into day 15 and needing to win 7 and 7 going into day 15 and then not pulling the win out at the end. The next is Atami Fuji. So those were our 2 Ozeki with Kirishima and Koto Zakura. I should mention Koto Zakura does have a youth show under his belt too, and try to mention those as we go through. So Atami Fuji, Sekiwaki 1 East. Him and Koto Shoho, both the Sekiwaki, both 9 and 6, I think, in the last tournaments. They both maintained their rank. I love Atami Fuji. I think he's such an interesting person, and all the videos and things you see of him out and about in the world, he seems like such a genuinely nice guy, and he's so big. He's just so exciting to watch. He's just so big. And he's incredibly fun to watch. I've got him at exactly the same spot that he has been. He averages about 9 wins a tournament. So each of the last 6 tournaments, he's competed all 15 days. He averages 9 wins on the nose. I've got him at 9 wins again. I don't have him doing that much better. The last couple of tournaments have had a lot of injuries with the Yokozuna being out and all that. So assuming a complete playing field, he's at the top of the Banzuke, which means he's going to be playing against those top tier guys. I think he's right. I think he's earning the wins that he's going to have. So maybe he drops to 8, but I think he's going to be right in that range of 8 to 10. Koto Shoho is a very similar story. So I've got Koto Shoho at B as well. Koto Shoho won last year's Nagoya Basho from, I think, like the Magashira 15 slot. Like it was crazy with that tournament run. But he's also on an Ozeki run now, technically. So he's got, in order to make Ozeki, you need to you need to have 33 wins over 3 tournaments. He's had 20 in the last 2. So if he hits 13 or more, he would take the promotion Ozeki. He averages about 8.5 wins. I don't think he gets to 13. I don't think he gets close to 13. I've got him right in the same spot as I do with Atami Fuji at that B rank, somewhere in that 8, 9, 10 range. So the next one would be our Sekiwaki 1 East, Wakataka Kage. Unfortunately, if you haven't heard the news, there's some great videos out there from Chris Sumo and from Vinny at Sumo Files about the injury that he sustained, but he ended up with compartment syndrome in his leg, which is essentially an increase in pressure that was potentially could cause, in the worst case scenario, death or loss of the limb. When he was in a training session, had a lot of pain, ended up taking an ambulance to the hospital. They operated on his leg, and they operated on his leg again the next day. Seems like he's going to recover fine from, again, talking about Chris Sumo and Sumo Files, Vinny at Sumo Files. He's going to recover. It's a question of recovery time and all that stuff. And all that to one side, they seem to have saved his life. They seem to have saved his leg, which is very good. And it's unfortunate too, because Wakataka Kage has just been, he's also on an Ozeki run. He's sitting at 20 wins for the last 2 tournaments. He's a reigning champ. He beat Kirishima in just a fantastic playoff back in May. Incredibly unfortunate that this has happened to him. Wishing him absolutely nothing but the best. I'm not going to put him on the chart out of respect. Actually, I tell you what, we'll put Wakataka Kage at the top. Um, Out of pure respect, I genuinely was going to have him somewhere around the same, probably A minus rank when he wrestled. But wishing him nothing but the best. I don't presume to think that this video is ever going to find its way to Wakataka Kage, but if it does, heal up, get better. We're all thinking about you. You know, it's what matters. Get better. Aonishiki is our Sekiwaki 2 West. So Wakataka Kage, I should mention also 2 Yusho. Aonishiki, also 2 Yusho. So he actually went through the Katabon, I think the Katabon process. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but he's effectively down to Sekiwake 2 West. He was Ozeki for the last 2 tournaments. Like the last couple tournaments, but for the last 2 tournaments, he managed fewer than 8 wins, including sitting out May entirely. I anticipate him coming back on an absolute tear. I've got him and Yoshino Fuji, which we'll get to Yoshino Fuji here in a little bit, as my picks to win this tournament, which might be a little bit controversial with, 2 healthy Yokozuna and Kirishima chasing a Yokozuna run on our chart. But, I think Aonishiki is an absolute dynamo to watch when he's healthy. And, to think that he was maybe, I forget what the March tournament, he was on a Yokozuna run as well, having won the previous tournament. He finished 7-8, I want to say, in that tournament. And to think that if he had gone 11-4 or 12-3, that we're talking about Yokozuna Onishiki, but he manages to get hurt and then sits out another tournament. Now we're talking about Katabon and trying to get back. I think he easily clears the hurdle of the 10 wins that he needs to get back to Ozeki. So having been Katabon, if he can get 10 wins in this tournament, he immediately makes the bounce back to Ozeki. So I think he does that and does that easily. I've got him at the same A+. But on the upside, I would say on that one, I've got him at 12 wins for this tournament, and I've got him in the mix for taking the title down. So that clears our Sekiwake. So we'll talk Komusubi and Yoshino Fuji. Not enough to talk about Yoshino Fuji. I love Yoshino Fuji. If you watched any of the other videos on my channel, I pulled a Yoshino Fuji autograph out of a pack recently while talking about how much I love Yoshino Fuji. So love Yoshino Fuji to death. He's at he's in his Senyaku debut this time. He made his top tier debut this time last year. And he averages about 9 wins a tournament. He was 11-4 in his last tournament, including a run of like 10, I think it was 9 or 10 straight wins, like just a phenomenal. And I think he's just so exciting. I have him at the same A+ as everyone else for this one. And I've got him personally, I have him as my pick to win it. I have Aonishiki and him in there competing until the very end, but I've got Yoshino Fuji taking this one down for his first title. Next would be Oho. So Oho is our Komusubi 1 West. Averages about 7 wins per tournament in his last 6 and is sitting at 9-6 with this last tournament. I've got him basically at exactly the same C+ for the 7 to 9 range. I'm hoping he can hit that 8 wins and keep his rank at Komusubi. So then we get down into the Magashira guys. So we'll do a little bit less talking about all of them necessarily. So Fujinokawa at Magashira 1 East. I like Fujinokawa a lot. Averages about 8.5 wins a tournament. Fujinokawa, there we go. So I've got him at the same 7-9 for this one. Takano Sho, Magashira 1 West, averages about 7.75 wins per tournament. And I've got him at the same rank. Takano Sho, actually, I've got him right here at C+. Gonoyama's Magashira 2 East. Averages a little over 7 wins a tournament. So I've got Gonoyama at C- this tournament. I think he's going to be in that probably closer to 6 than he is to 8 wins this time. Chirano Umi is our next Magashira 2 West. Names are very small. Chirano Umi, got him. Averages about 8 wins a tournament. Got him right in that same 7-9 range. Hiroto Umi at Magashira 3 East. Averages about 7 wins a tournament. Yep, right in the same, C+. Takano Fuji. Takano Fuji had a great last tournament. He was part of that chasing pack of people going into wrestlers going into the last day. Um, what finished ended up finishing with 11 wins. I think he had a great tournament. So he averages a little over 8. I've got him actually up in my B tier this tournament. I think we're seeing him start to put the parts and pieces together. When he's healthy and he competes very well. In this last tournament, I think is indicative of things to come for him. So we've got him at B. Daisho. There's Daisho. Averages about 7.5 wins, so right at that Makakoshi Kachikoshi line. I've got him in exactly the same spot this time. Nothing jumping out at me there. Ichi Yamamoto is right here. Ichi Yamamoto is in the exact same boat as Daisho. When he competes, he finishes right at about that 7.5 wins. Ura is exactly the same. All three of these guys are all about that 7.2, 7.4 wins per tournament when they're healthy. But Ura had a really great last tournament. He was also not quite in the mix, but there in the last couple of days, finished with 10 wins in the last tournament. I've got Ura up at B this tournament to kind of keep the run from May going. Again, I tend to be pretty optimistic when it comes to these things, and I like Ura a lot. He's another very exciting wrestler to watch. You never know what he's gonna do. There was that one match, I can't remember who he fought in May, where he was basically bent in half at the edge of the ring. And fought back and won. It was just absolutely incredible. Love Ura. Oshoma averages about 6 wins a tournament, but finished 8-7 in the last tournament, so I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt here. So Oshoma at C+. Shodai is a former Yusho winner, but averaging about 7 wins per tournament, so I'm going to put him in the same sort of C+ rank as everyone else. Fuji Seiyun is our Magashira 6 West. Fuji averages about 8.5 wins, but has only completed 2 tournaments in the top tiers. He got his promotion in March of this year. So the last tournament he was 7-8. We're just going to give him the benefit of the doubt that he's going to kind of maintain, and we'll see and hope for good things for Fuji Seiyun. Kotoeho at Magashira 7 East is sitting at a career high rank of Magashira 7. Has completed in 3 complete top tier tournaments in the last year and is averaging a little over 8 wins per, but finished with 10 wins in this last tournament. I'm going to say that Kotoeho is probably looking at a regression back to the mean here. A little bit more that the last tournament was an outlier than a directional. So we'll see what happens. I'm rooting for everyone here. I'm rooting for every single person here to get 15 wins. That's not possible, of course, but I'm rooting for everyone to get 15 wins. So, prove me wrong. Prove me wrong, kids. Prove me wrong. Takayasu. Not enough good things to be said about Takayasu. Now with Tamawashi's demotion to Jurio, Takayasu is now the oldest wrestler in the top tier. Got 9 runner-up finishes, which is insane. And one of the first few tournaments I was in was the last one that I watched, because I've gotten into sumo in the last year, was one of his last runner-up finish. Absolutely incredible wrestler and such a genuinely nice guy, good singing voice. Great guy. Averages about 8 wins a tournament. I'm going to give Takayasu the Papa Bear bonus here. I'm going to say Takayasu is going to have a good tournament here. He's going to take that mantle of being the oldest wrestler in the top tier to heart. And show these whippersnappers how to get it done, and probably aim for 9, maybe 10 wins this time. Wakamoto Haru. That's Wakamoto Haru. Averages about 6.5 wins a tournament. I don't really see too much of a reason to change that at this point. Last tournament he only had 5 wins. Roga. So Roga averages about 7 wins a tournament, but was 9-6 in the last. So we're going to keep him right at the center at C+. Fuji Ryoga is sitting at a career high rank of Magashira 9 East, having gotten his top tier promotion in March of this year. Finished 10-5 in this past tournament. Really seems like he's putting some stuff together here. I really like him to keep this momentum going into a future tournament. Do I have him at, actually, you know what? I've got him at A-. I've got Fuji Ryoga at A-, not B. I've got him at 11 wins this time. It would be incredibly exciting to see the momentum continue. Tobizaru. So Tobizaru averages about right at that 7.4 wins, so right at that Kashikoshi line. Finished 9-6 in the last tournament, so we'll give him the benefit of the doubt again. C plus is getting a little bit crowded, as you would expect it to be crowded because it is the average for the make or break line. Asanoyama's got a Yusho under his belt. Top tier for a long time, in the former Ozeki. 8-7 in this last tournament. I've got him at the exact same spot this time. Chiyoshoma's averaging a little over 6 wins a tournament, but finished with 5 wins in the last tournament. So I've got him at C-, kind of continuing that trend. Wakano Sho, sitting at a career high rank of Magashira 11 East, averages 9 wins, but has only done 1 tournament in the top tier because of his promotion in May. It's obviously 9-6 in his 1 tournament. I'm gonna give him I'm gonna get the newbies the benefit of the doubt, keep the momentum going, keep doing the thing. Wakano Sho sitting at B for this one. Mitakeumi is a former 3-time Yusho winner. Averages right under 8 wins a tournament. I'm going to keep Mitakeumi right at that C+ rank. Asahakiryu, promoted in January of this year. So in the 3 top tier tournaments, he averages just under 8 wins. But in this past tournament, he finished 5-10. I'm going to put him benefit of the doubt rebound tournament for Asahakiryu back into C+. Abi's our Magashira 12 West, former Yusho winner. He's got 1. Averages about 6 wins a tournament, but finished 5-10 in the last tournament. I've got Abi down at C- for this one. Nishiki Fuji averages a little under 8 wins, 5-10 in the last tournament. I'm going to give Nishiki Fuji the rebound C+ this time. Get over that 5-10 from last time. Takara Fuji is our next. That's our Magashira 13 West. No top tier tournaments in the last year, but Injurio is averaging about 8.8 wins for over the course of the last year and finished 11-4 in Injurio last month in May. So I'm going to give him the now extremely overcrowded C+ ranking for this one. That the return to top division is going to go very well for him. Kinbozan. So Kinbozan averages about 6 wins a tournament. I'm going to give Kinbozan the C-. Shishi averages about 7, but the eternal mystery enigma wrapped in a mawashi is Shishi. I feel like it was either March or May. He was really putting a good run together and looked like he was getting some stuff going, and then like it just fell apart entirely. I'm gonna give Shishi the C-. I don't think he's gonna rebound. I'm torn on this one because he's very brief flashes of brilliance and then just like stumbling over his own feet. I don't know what to make of Shishi. Onokatsu. So Onokatsu is a return E to top division. Averages a little under 7 wins. We'll give him the C+ benefit of the doubt. And then we're into our 2 newcomers, Kazuma. Say Kazuma there. Kazuma. Fantastic. This video for both Kazuma and Daisei's on Vinny over at Sumo Files. Again, I'll link those in the description of the video. Fantastic biographical videos of these 2. Go and watch them. Kazuma has usurped Atami Fuji as the heaviest top tier wrestler at 205 kilograms or roughly 450 pounds. Having watched him wrestle a couple times in the Jurio tournament last time, absolutely seems like he's going to be so exciting to see. I really have a lot of faith in Kazuma's is my cadence of that. Kazuma's ability to put this together this time. I've got him at 10, but a high 10 for this. A lot of expectations for Kazuma going into this one. I'm very excited to see how this plays out for him. And then Dai Seizon again is another newcomer to the top tier. Fantastic story there. I'm gonna give him the B plus on this one. We're gonna give the newcomers the benefit of the doubt that they're actually gonna exceed expectations rather than find the harsh reality of a top tier debut. But you know, go out there and do better. Rooting for you. And then Asakoryu is our last. Averages about 7 wins, 7.5 wins per tournament. So we're going to add him to the extremely overcrowded C plus rank. So there is my finish. I've got 5 wrestlers at that A plus, and it's pretty much all your usual suspects: and Hoshoryu, Onosato, Kirushima, Aonishiki, and Yoshino Fuji. And then we've got Fuji Ryoga and Kazuma in the A minus, and then everyone else sort of tucked in the rest of the way there. So thank you very much for watching. You know, if you have any comments, questions, or anything, feel free to leave a message or something like that, and we'll see how this turns out. Thanks for watching.